All right, so today we're taking a look at what can I do to actually make this factorable. Remembering that we've factored it only one way with these. Whenever we've factored these, it's always been parentheses x plus or minus some number squared. And so it's going to have to be fitting that criteria. Now, if this is going to be a plus 10x in the middle, what does that number have to be that goes inside the parentheses? 5, I think, is looking pretty good, yeah. Because we have to do that 10 divided by 2, which gives me 5. So if I get a 5 in there, I can kind of be thinking ahead, what would that factored form look like? What does that mean that this number is? Yep, it'd be 25 then. Because remember that we take the middle number and divide it by 2 to get the number in the factored form. We then square that number to get this. All right, so having seen that one, take a moment, write down the second problem, and see what would that number be. All right, and so in this case, again, I'm thinking ahead to what would the factored form look like. I know it's going to be something with the x squared. And so what would that number be in the parentheses? 3. And I need to tweak that just a little bit. Because it's a negative 6x or a minus 6x, it's going to be a minus 3. So if that's a minus 3 inside the parentheses, what goes in the blank? 9, yes, absolutely. Because I do 3 squared, which gives me 9. So that's how we complete it. That's our process that we're going through. Now, having seen that process, I again want you to have a chance to practice that a little bit on your own. So here's 2 more problems. I'd like you please to fill in the blank and write out what would the factored form look like after we do so. All right, so let's see what you end up getting here. For the first one, you should get 81 in the blank in order to complete it. Why? Because when we go and get that factored form, it ends up being x plus or minus something squared. That something has to be half of the 18. So that's a 9. And 9 squared gives me 81. So that's how I knew it was 81. For the second one, negative 20 divided by 2 is a negative 10. Negative 10 squared is a positive 100. How do I know that? Because I'm thinking ahead to that factored form. So I know it's got to be x plus or minus something squared. I know what the something is because it's the middle number divided by 2.
So you just divide by 2 and multiply by self.
And so then that gives me the negative 10, and negative 10 squared gives me the 100. And that's how I know what has to go in the end.